wear your fucking masks. Given people still don't wear their fucking masks, absolute shit. We need government to step in. I didn't say that. Shut the fuck up. I've never said it.
She not a lesbian for peace, she turned lesbian, push P.
Bill Maher was on CNN talking about the shooting last night. Who fucking cares? I don't want to know Bill Maher's take on the shooting. Bill Maher's a dumbass. Bill Maher claims he can make lasagna for less than $15. Probably. He probably doesn't know how much it costs to make food. Yeah, it's with Canada, we have the gun laws we have in place tend to be pretty effective at stopping the crime statistics. But no, I mean, we haven't gotten the horrible trolls just yet in my chat, but they're coming. They'll be here soon enough, I'm sure. That's on circumcision. I have no issue with it. I was circumcised. It's not Chantel's fault, no. It's just Chantel has a lot of haters and trolls. So they latch on to me as well. And I've earned a few trolls of my own. So Chantel's fucked up. But she was getting shit tons of trolls before she made any sort of mistakes. So estrogen is a drug. Testosterone is a drug. So I think Alex is going to have a field day. Yeah. We'll see how he finds a way to blame it on the left. I mean, he's certainly not going to admit that white supremacy is a problem, especially because he's pushing white supremacy. He'll probably end up calling it another fucking false flag. That's an idea that's already being pushed by plenty of right wingers. False flag. Though I think the most common, or actually even more than false flag, most people on the right it's mental health. It's a mental health issue. Clearly he was crazy. It's mental health. We need to focus on mental health. Not that they'll actually put any actual money towards dealing with mental health issues. No. I mean, they're not going to actually, do anything about mental health issues. They're just going to say it's a mental health issue. He was a loner with no friends. But the point, Stacked, was to shoot up black people. He was targeting black people. Yes, there were a couple of white people who got killed as well, who got shot as well. But it was driven by white supremacy. He was specifically targeting black people. Yeah. He drove to a black neighborhood so he could shoot black people. It's not that I don't care about them. Just, okay, good night, Nisi. They died because they were in proximity to black people. Or they got shot, I guess. The white people got shot because they were in proximity to the black people who were being targeted. He was specifically targeting black people. As noted, his manifesto talks about replacement theory. He was a white supremacist. He said white people are being replaced. Exactly. No, I haven't read the manifesto, but I've read, people talking about the manifesto. I do not think white people are being replaced. And even if we were, who fucking cares? Who gives a shit if white people get replaced? We will all be brownish color one day. Probably not. Honestly, races will always exist to some extent, I suspect. There'll be fewer people who are sort of entirely white or entirely black or entirely Asian or entirely whatever. Intermingling is going to become more and more common. All humans were black at one point? Yep. No, I'm white. Racism when I'm this fucking white. I don't know that white people can experience racism because the thing is, in Western culture, white people are the dominant race. We are the politically and economically dominant race. There's no real denying that. if you're going to be at all honest. Politically and economically, we are at present in Western society the dominant race. What about the Irish? Yeah, I mean, 100 years ago, the Irish weren't considered white. Here in Japan, I and my children understand racism many, many times. Yeah. Yeah, like 100 years ago, the Irish weren't white. And, the Italians weren't white. Whiteness as a concept changes over time. No, they weren't black. They weren't white. Because the Romani in the US, in North America, aren't white. No, Asian people aren't white. White people experience racism when they are part of a group that is not considered part of whiteness. Felton Fields, I don't have friends. Duh. Again, Lady Leia, at one point, Irish and Italians were part of the out group. They were denied the benefits of being part of the white power structure. Do I have any white sheets? Nah. No, my sheets are blue. Any lesbian romance novels? I don't really read romance. Romance novels as a rule. They're white, but not for the purposes of white supremacy. As far as white supremacists were concerned, the Irish weren't white. They were Irish. Italians weren't white. They were Italians. So that's the thing to remember about white supremacy. White supremacy is largely based on who gets left out. So as far as white supremacists were concerned, back in early 20th century and earlier, they did not consider the Irish to be white. They did not consider Italians to be white. And today, white supremacists do not consider the Romani people to be white. They still look at groups of people and say they are not white. No, 13 seems like about the right age to be taking puberty blockers, because that's about the age that you're going to be hitting puberty. If I woke up tomorrow and I was black, freak out at the fact that magic apparently exists. I mean, I'll still be attracted to women, but statistically, realistically, I'm probably going to end up dating a trans woman. 13-year-old consent? Yes. 13-year-old can consent to puberty blockers. Yes, absolutely, they can. They are absolutely at an age where they can start puberty blockers. In fact, that is actually what pretty much every reputable pediatric health organization recommends. They all recommend it. Like, most kids who start transitioning continue with their transition. Very few of them actually detransition. Puberty blockers are temporary. You can come off them at any time, at which point puberty resumes. Can't there be irreparable harm done? It is extremely rare for there to be any long-term harm to puberty blockers. Meanwhile, forcing someone to go through the wrong puberty does have psychological impacts. Forcing someone to go through the wrong puberty is traumatic. It is traumatic for them because they know what gender they are. Yeah, they have the mindset. They know what gender they are. Know what gender they are. That includes children. Kids know what gender they're supposed to be. And I felt like a girl trapped in a man's body for the past few months, I'm pretty sure I know. And that's the thing. Like, people think that kids, like, when people talk about, like, kids being transgender, like, the idea is that kids don't know what they want. Kids want to be, my kid wanted to be a dinosaur when he was 6. When kids come out as transgender, it is not a spur of the moment thing. They have spent weeks or months or years thinking about it. It has been a part of their lives for as long as they can remember. It's not a phase. Like, it's not just a phase that they're going through. It's something where they'll do it for months or years. It'll be something that they think about a lot. Kid spent an hour pretending to be a T-Rex before getting distracted by their favorite show. That's not what's happening. It's not trendy. It's not trendy. What's happening is that people are feeling more comfortable coming out. It's not trendy. People are feeling more confident in coming out now. Hey, Tammy, that's the thing. Parents can force it. They can try. It's not going to fucking work. And parents are more likely to force cis heteronormativity on their child. So there was a guy. This is a long time ago. I think this is decades ago, I believe. There was a boy who had some sort of botched surgery or something like that on his penis. So the parents and doctors decided to just cut the penis off and raise the child and raise this boy as a girl. Kid was raised to believe he was a girl. He spent his whole life depressed, knowing that there was something wrong, knowing that he was not a girl. He always knew it. People know their genders. So yeah, David Reimer, botched circumcision between the ages. So yeah, this is from the Wikipedia article. Reimer's realization that he was not a girl crystallized between the ages of 9 and 11 years, and he transitioned to living as a male at age 15. You know, trans people are a very, very, very small percentage of the population.
I'm so fresh, you can suck my nuts. I'm so fresh, you can suck my nuts. Swag. I'm so fresh, you can suck my nuts. I'm so fresh, you can suck my nuts.